I know it has been a very long time since I've gotten back to do any readings for pretty much anyone. So I'm happy to be back. Welcome to the Sapphire Spider Oracle channel. If you're new to the channel, thanks so much for stopping by. If you're a returning listener, I'm so glad you're here. Sorry, I'm just noticing some sage ash over here on my whatchamadoodle. I just cleansed the space and everything. It's been very busy overall in my life, and I'm sure very busy for many of you guys. It is a busy time astrologically. It is lots of big shifts happening in general in everyone's life, but definitely my life. I had to take a hiatus there for a while and focus on some other aspects, and still working through some things, but happy to be back. I have a special treat for you guys today. I have not read with this deck yet, and I'm super stoked. It's fairly new. It's called Tarot of the Divine, and it's from this illustrator Yoshitani, and I got this off of Amazon, and the entire box is, or the entire deck rather, is fairy tales and folklore from all over the world. Look at these beautiful freaking cards, y'all. And I've read a lot from this deck for myself, but I was kind of trying to learn it a little bit before I came in with you guys to do a reading, but very beautiful cards. I'm super stoked to do this reading for you guys. And then I've got the Rider-Waite on the side. Ooh, look at that card that just went ahead and wanted to flip. You know what, Virgo? We're going to take it because it wanted to come out. I've got the Rider-Waite over here to clarify if we need to, but let's get started. And it just said it wants me to start with that card. Virgo, I also want to say that I'm starting with you for this batch of readings because I am a Virgo, and one of the messages that really came through right before I started this reading, when I was trying to figure out what sign to start on, the message was pretty much just to start with yourself. Focus on yourself, right? And that is definitely something that you might be feeling a lot of at this time. That is why I have these black crystals in here as well. So it's definitely the time for release. Today is the last quarter moon here in December. So we are heading towards a new moon and a solar eclipse. We're in the middle of an eclipse portal. It's a lot. It wants me to be quiet now and start flipping your cards, but it is a time for grounding, releasing negativity, cleansing, all of that. So that's where we're at. Let's see what's going on, Virgo. Let's start with this card here. This Eight of Wands. You know, it was funny. Right when I was picking this deck to come do these readings today, I just kind of peeked through some of my cards and I saw this one. And sorry. It's giving me a mixture of messages. Sorry, I'm trying to sort it out. Okay, so where it started was with Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. And of course, the Raven always says, quoth the Raven, nevermore, right? Nevermore. Quoth the Raven, nevermore. But that's not really what it wants to focus on. Like, it's bringing that up, but sorry, Virgo. That's what I mean. It wants you to like sit and think. First of all, an Eight of Wands is always about communication. There's for sure some communication flying in, right? Hot and heavy. Whew, coming in. I love how this raven or this crow or whatever we want to... nice. It totally just gave me some Game of Thrones. Wow. It said, you know nothing, Jon Snow. And Jon Snow was a crow because he was a watcher on the wall, right? And there's definitely this snow back here. There's conversation, communication coming in. But it was pointing out how this crow or this raven isn't just a solid black crow. Ooh. My dogs are going off. I'm not sure why. Okay, maybe they'll chill. This has a lot of colors, right? Specifically purple, kind of a darker blue, a lighter blue. So it's all the higher chakras: crown, third eye, throat chakra. Definitely, definitely in those higher chakras, definitely in that feminine energy. Ooh, and now it just brought up the red. It was bringing up kind of like the red woman, but it's bringing up both like Egret and the red woman and a little bit of Jon Snow, but it's not necessarily focusing on the masculine energy. It's focused on that feminine energy of you know nothing. And then the red woman does know, and yet at the same time she doesn't, right? It's like she's a prophet and a witch and a sorceress, but yet at the same time it's like the Lord of Light controls everything, right? And that's very much kind of this whole thing. That's part of this whole message that's coming in, is like, ooh, nice message, Spirit. Is saying how you know nothing and yet you know everything. You know nothing and yet you know everything. And that beautiful balance of duality, especially with an 8, makes that infinity symbol, right? That's what I mean. It's like this constant flow, this acceptance of knowing but not knowing, feeling but not feeling, thinking but not thinking. There's, oh. And that's why we're here for this reading. It's kind of what it just said. It just wanted me to uncross my feet under my desk because it was pointing out that is a way to block the flow of your own energy through the root chakra. So to get grounded, like uncross your feet. It just said 3. 1, 2, 3. It's like get grounded, get grounded. Okay. Instantly gave me bridge over troubled waters. Instantly. This moon card has been popping out a lot recently for the collective in general. We're very much facing some fears. We definitely came out of a lunar eclipse and we're heading towards a solar eclipse. So we are bridging. We're in the middle of this eclipse cycle and we're like halfway through it literally. So we're literally bridging a big energy portal, and this is major arcana. So definitely bridging a big energy portal. And the thing is you can't see everything right now. You know that you don't know, and yet you know everything, right? You know what was so interesting is I was looking at a different moon card the other day, and it like finally made some real sense to me why the fear message comes out for the moon card, because I always think the moon cards are so beautiful, right? And it was pointing out, and I've used this phrase before, but it's basically like every light casts a shadow. And even though she's fully colored and drawn out for us here, it's like, especially with the hair, right? It's like a silhouette. So every light casts a shadow, and every shadow is cast by a light. And it was really pointing out at that time when I thought of that phrase, looking at the moon card, that what the moon light specifically shows you is where your fears are. And it shows you the shape of your fears, but it does not actually show you what they are, right? It's the shadow of it. You have to go in the dark and go look for it. Something just made my right foot twitch when I was saying that. That's what I mean. You have to cross the bridge into the dark forest and go find out what it is. The moon is the moon card, and the moonlight in general is there to light the way for you. And it gives you just enough light that you can make out shapes and see your path and usually get by. But you have to really step into the dark to get to know what those shadows and fears and shapes are, right? There's definitely a lot of shadow work that's been going on. And I would say, especially kind of with these motifs that I've been channeling, it's definitely a period of shadow work. And that's exactly what this card is about, right? And there's these two like little raccoons and stuff, little bandits or something, kind of chilling with her and everything. And that was the other thing I was noticing, is how when moonlight hits the water, it's very beautiful and mesmerizing, right? And this is where the illusion aspect comes into the moon card. However, you can't actually see what's under this water. Why? Because of like the physics of light and water, because this light is shining on the water surface. The surface looks beautiful, but you can't see what's underneath. It could be nothing at all to fear, right? Or there could be like freaking piranhas in the water. So it's like definitely one of those things where the moonlight can reveal and show as much beauty as it does illusion. It can be as healing and beautiful as sunlight, and yet it's for a different purpose. It's because it revealed the darkness to you, right? The moon revealed the darkness to you. Whew. It's saying for some of you guys, the lunar eclipse revealed some darkness for you. It wants me to do this one next. And this thing, you're crossing this bridge, so you've definitely acknowledged that there's some shadow work and some darkness there to work out within yourself. You know you're in a process and you're moving and shifting. You're halfway across the bridge. You're moving across the bridge of troubled water, over troubled waters type deal. Very much on the other, almost on the other side of this bridge. Ooh, I haven't pulled this card yet before, so I don't know what this kind of folklore story is. Let me sit with this one for a minute. So this is the Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Coin. First thing it pointed out to me was the conch shell up here on his head. And what's funny is that to me is actually a very, oh, nice. It's kind of pointing out how it's both, how a conch shell embodies feminine and masculine energies, because you have to like go in and it sounds like the ocean, and but yet it constantly grows and spirals up. Hang on. This is giving me interesting stuff, but it's translating it through like my personal things. So hang on a second. Number one, it's talking about, even though this definitely to me feels like two men in this card, this conch shell has like really got my attention right now. And that's where it's just saying like it's talking about how the feminine and masculine energies together grow, and how the shell grows and keeps growing, and therefore it's like they're always in union. And that's at the center of this guy's like headdress, which is pretty much where his third eye would be. So it's very much making a reference to the third eye chakra, and saying that that is where both energies reside and like come together and constantly grow. So within your third eye chakra, Virgo, you might be definitely getting some dreams, visions, signs and synchronicities, something there in your third eye. That's where the unity lies. That's where the masculine and feminine energies come together. And what's so interesting is that this figure is looking at this one, and the first thing I thought of when I saw these polka dots was like an illness. Obviously COVID's going around and stuff like that, right? But it just said Black Plague. That's what I mean. It's like, it was saying like, and it kind of gave me a little bit of some traditional wedding vows, but only the line about in sickness and in health. So there's something here. Nice. Thank you, Spirit. It's pointing out the word disease, and it wants to say that the word disease, of course, if you break it apart, is dis-ease. And that term used in that way can represent all kinds of things. Very real, materialistic illnesses, physical body things, but definitely kind of like a spiritual. And wow, it just gave me this weird sound out of a video game I was literally playing last night. And you know, like when you're in a video game and you shoot things, sometimes you can see like the little energy shock wave come off of it. That's what it's kind of implying. Like there are, like these are the spots where something has been maybe like attacking you, shooting you, sucking the life out of you, making you sick. It's saying, what are you committed to even when you're sick and you're healthy, right? And that's where this giant kind of pyre flame thing is going up. And it just said, this is the flame of heaven, a fire of heaven. Very much like this too. That's what I mean. Ooh, Virgo. Whoa. Okay, that masculine energy just went and stepped in. Prometheus, y'all. Prometheus, yes. That's what this is. It's like the masculine energy symbolized by Prometheus at this moment steals fire from the gods to bring down from the heavens for mankind. And that fire is sometimes literally interpreted as real fire, right? When we think of like the cavemen and the discovery fire and blah, 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 how it changed the world for us and everything, of course. But, of course, fire, Wands energy especially, is about knowledge and spirit, like that kind of fire, right? The fire within, the fire of spirit, the fire of soul, the fire of creation, the fire of God, basically. And then it just said light worker. That's especially what light workers are here to do, is to tend the flame, hold the sacred flame, protect it, and not just guard it, though. It's like you are the keeper of the mysteries, right? You are the keeper of the door. Kind of keeper of the gold of Pentacles, because that was the other thing it was giving me. It was kind of like an El Dorado feel, like how El Dorado's the secret city that's like tucked away and it's therefore protected. It's not that you can't get into El Dorado, it's just you gotta go find it, right? And that's exactly what it's bringing up, is like Virgo, people in this group are some light workers. Y'all are in some deep shadow work. Sorry, it's giving me so much off of y'all. But that's what it was saying, is like El Dorado, the sacred fire. It's like the secret temple and sacred temple. Both, it's like one in one, hand in hand. In sickness and in health, you have to guard the sacred flame of light that has been brought down to earth. And the problem is you're on your way there. And it's not that you haven't already been doing this. It's just like, once again, right? Just like how here's a little bit of that arch. It's like you're on the underside of this circle right here. Like there's the sun circle, here's part of the moon. It's like you're on the underside of that. And that's where it's like you've been in the underworld, you've been in the dark, you've been, it said, learning your soul. And you're halfway across that bridge. You're like halfway through your shadow work, and you know that when you come back, you're going like right back to, it said you're going right back to work, right back to tending the flame, right back to the things you've been doing. And as much as this is about kind of like some inventory and stock and stability and kind of checking things over, and again, there's a little bit of a representation here of like some dis-ease and things like that. It's very stable. The Seven of Pentacles is not a bad place to be. It's just definitely kind of tending to your own, right? What's this final card here? Oh, Yes, honey. Woo! Y'all weren't here for it because it was in my private meditation before I came in here, but in this exact stone, which is why I brought it in here, I swear to you, there was like a lamb. I could see the reflection of a little lamb, and there it is. The little lamb. What's so funny is I braid my hair, and my hair is ridiculously long, and it very much looks like this. This is very much speaking to me personally as a Virgo, but hopefully for some other Virgos as well. I was just watching Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal and stuff like that, and I was really analyzing it, and it's such a strange psychological movie and stuff, right? Like, Clarice gets helped by a crazy serial killer, and yet at the same time he like won't really harm her, and he has this strange love for her, but it's not quite like, you know. And that's where it's like the Silence of the Lambs, and she runs away as a child from the farm that she was supposed to be raised on after her father died. And the reason why she ran was because the rancher was slaughtering the baby lambs at night, and she heard them screaming. And so she ran, and she kept one lamb. She was able to get one lamb, and she was able to flee with that. And then that's when Hannibal asked her, he's like, and what happened to your little lamb, Clarice? And she says, he was so heavy, I had to let him go and hope that, you know, he could just go off and do whatever he needed to do, go survive. And that was the whole thing. It was like, she says that she opened the gate to let all of the lambs out, and they were so scared that they wouldn't run. They were just so petrified by everything that they wouldn't run. And that was the problem, is that she opened the gate to set them all free, and they wouldn't run. And that's when she just kind of grabs one and is like trying to hightail it out of there and save at least one. If she could just save at least one, is what she says. And Virgo, that's a lot. Ooh, yes. That's part of this dark forest. That's part of this darkness that you've been into, is like, you know, that you try to save everything, especially these cute little things. Like, Virgo, we are the virgin maidens. We very much cherish health and all the organization and stuff like that, right? But like, definitely innocence and fragility, virginity, things that are like very pure, very innocent, like a little lamb, right? And you're always trying to save and rescue everything. And the thing is, sadly, not everything can be rescued or saved. And that's where part of this message is coming in, that like, people have to make their own moves. Animals have to make their own moves. Everyone, everything has to make their own choices. And you can open the gate for people. You can show them to El Dorado. You could explain it all in really long-winded metaphors like I've been doing here. You can show them cards. You can do whatever it is you need to try and do. But if they won't run, then what can you do? And the whole reason why Clarice gets picked up by the cops afterwards is because she got tired, because she was carrying that lamb that she was trying to rescue and save, and she couldn't carry him anymore because she was a child and she was too small. She couldn't save that, right? And so that's the whole thing that very much brings me to this card. And that's where she's looking up at the star, very much kind of like this being lost, but looking for a lot of hope and help, still trying to do her best to protect that innocence and vulnerability of things in the world. Lots of hope, lots of healing in here in this card. Very, very beautiful energy. Very sacred, innocent, feminine energy coming through. And still very much kind of like the Temperance card, like her foot and everything, and her hair is here in the water. That's what I mean. She's so deep in those spiritual flows, the river flow of of emotions and spiritual messages. This is like the Christmas star, which everyone's talking about because Jupiter and Saturn are coming up together. Ooh, it was 24:55 when I looked at the clock. I don't know if that one's particularly a number, but it sounds good, right? And so Jupiter and Saturn coming conjunct in the sky here on December 21st is supposed to be a Christmas star, is what they're kind of calling it. So that's also that. And that's what I mean. It's like, which of course the Christmas is all about the Christ child being born, at least when that's how we look at it, right? And that's the whole thing, is like new little babies being born, things that are like so beautiful and worth protecting and sheltering. And yet at the same time, that journey is so hard because there are sacrifices and things along the way that it's just like, it's a really hard lesson, Virgo, because you try so hard to save everything and you just simply cannot. And that's where part of this final lesson is about letting go and knowing that. And I always love the star card too, because the star card's often about this, that whatever you cannot hold in your own arms, whoo, that emotion wave just came through. This might trigger some of you guys. Whatever you cannot hold in your own arms, the universe will hold for you instead. And because the universe is holding us all, right? Whatever you cannot save and whatever you cannot hold, the universe is doing it for you. And therefore, you have to trust the universe, which in short is saying you have to trust God. And just know that it's always protecting you, he, she, it, universe, whatever you want to call it. It's always protecting you, always holding you. And you just do the same thing for everything that is vulnerable and small and meek and gentle. And you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And sometimes that can be very emotional lessons, right? What's on the bottom of the deck for you, Virgo? What's this final message going out? That's what I was saying. It's really about being yourself, and you know that, Virgo. You know that very deep down. But you fight so hard to get everyone here to El Dorado to see this flame, and not everyone is meant to see it or meant to get there. Not everyone can face the shadows with you and do the shadow work with you. And not everyone is going to understand the communications and metaphors and the mysteries that come with all of this spiritual work. You know nothing, yet you know everything, right? What's on the bottom of the deck for you, Virgo? Ooh, that 3 of Coins. This just tells me that you need to keep doing your dance and doing your thing. Because look at you. You feel great. You look great. You just, and totally the line about marching to the beat of your own drum, right? You're banging your own drum, marching to the beat of your own drum. And there are possibly some people back here watching you that don't like that. They're triggered by that. And that's, ooh, nice message. Virgo, you got a long video today, and I apologize, but as part of the message is that you have to realize that sometimes your happiness triggers other people because they want you to march to the beat of their drums. And it's just like something kind of like along the lines of like, too bad, so sad. Like, you've got to make yourself happy and you've got to do your own things. There's always going to be like the evil eye staring at you. There's always going to be people watching you be successful or do whatever it is you enjoy, create things, dance, move, and be yourself. And it's going to trigger them and make them jealous. And the reason why is because it's triggering their shadows, their own demons, their own things that they need to face. And it's specifically mentioning sadness and anger, blue, red, these faces, right? It's like it's triggering you. Or not you, it's triggering them to see you happy. And it just said, honey, there ain't nothing you can do about that. And that's the final word, Virgo. Whew, this deck was nice. This deck was nice. All right, Virgo, that's what I got for you guys. Sorry that took me a while. Definitely had to feel that one out for you, but it was a beautiful message. So I hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. By the way, if you want to know what any of these fairy tales are on the card, just leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. It's all here in the book. They just tell you what each card kind of relates to, and I'd be happy to share that info. But anyway, y'all have a blessed one, and I will see you guys later. Thank you.